Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good after wherever you are. Welcome to the Angry Onion. It is week 11, 2021. Here we give you news and views on a few stories that just stinks on most occasions. I am the Angry Onion, and I'm angry, and I'm an onion. So let's get rolling here. As we stated, I am the Angry Onion. I cook up some stories and things that just purely stink, downright funky. It stinks so good, you probably only gonna listen to us one time and say that is too stinky. But we hope you stay with us each week because we'll bring you a few little stories that just stink. With no further ado, let's go ahead and move right into our news. However, before we do the news, let me give you a couple of ground rules we have here, a little bit about what we do here on the Angry Onion. Our goal is to give you short, different sides of some of the unique stories from the world of news, weather, sports, or something just crazy. Most of it will stink, but guess what? I'm an onion and I stink. If you think it stinks, you can definitely talk about it in the comment section by yourself or with others. However, remember, I am an onion. I stink. So whatever I do is bound to stink. And as an onion, I don't have logic. If you get upset, then all I can say is that you're getting upset with an onion. And an onion doesn't have a brain or feelings, so I'm not sure what we gather out of that. We will also have an onion breath stinker of the week. You can also nominate someone to be the onion breath stinker of the week. Each week, we will have a unique question or topic for you to ponder and discuss. More than likely, it will stink also. All right, let's go ahead and kick off with our first news story. Today's news story comes out of the state of Connecticut. It says Connecticut police open investigation into brazen caught on tape theft of grocery store carts full of goods. Police in Southington, Connecticut are investigating a bizarre theft incident involving multiple people, which occurred at a grocery store and resulted in reported loss of $1,600 worth of goods. The incident, which was caught on camera and involved four people, took place shortly after 6:30 a.m. on Tuesday at the Market 32 store on Oxford Road. According to a statement from the Oxford Residence Trooper's Office, it was reported that multiple individuals had just committed a larceny at the store and fled the area prior to the arrival of responding police personnel, law enforcement officials said. Footage from the scene, which was shared with CBS 3 Eyewitness News, aligns with the description of the incident by police, which notes that the individuals subsequently left the store without paying for their items, loaded them into two awaiting vehicles, parked in the fire lane, and fled the area. In an effort to find those responsible, law enforcement officials say they are working with asset protection personnel to obtain surveillance camera footage in an effort to identify the people involved. According to a report from Fox 61 News, police believe they have identified two of the four individuals involved in the crime. Law enforcement officials also suspect that the individuals involved in the incident are connected to other thefts in the area. The description of the vehicle is similar and connected to the series of thefts that have been going on around the state, said Lieutenant Keith Egan of the Southington Police Department, Fox 61 News reported. Anyone who has information that may assist officers in the active investigation is encouraged to call the Oxford Resident Trooper's Office at 203-888-4353 and reference case number 2100460035. Many years ago, I worked in retail, and we worked closely with our asset uh, department, our asset assistance department, our asset recovery department, however you want to call it. And an interesting thing about that is these guys were pretty good. They will review the tape, and 9 times out of 10, people that come in and do this kind of coordinated effort know someone in the store, connected with someone in the store, have cased it with someone in the store, and that's why it becomes so brazen and so simple. Uh, it may have started off at one store, they knowing someone, and then took the pattern other places, but usually it's someone in the store. Now, theft is wrong. There's no getting around. If you're stealing, stealing is wrong. Now, if these individuals were in there stealing because they were homeless or they're trying to feed themselves, that's one thing. But just looking at some of the pictures, I don't think that's the case. Very coordinated effort. And, with surveillance cameras and things around, they're going to be caught. And if they feel have identified two of the four individuals involved in the crime, the other two will be turned in, and you'll find out there's more people caught in it. What do you think about this? I know it stinks when people steal like that, and your shrinkage in the stores go up. Usually the prices are going to go up. And you can call it inflation, whatever you want to call it right now, but if you go in the grocery store, prices are pretty dadgum high. I looked at some crab legs today. Normally run me about $29. They were $62. I said I just won't be eating crab legs today. So, stinky story here out of Southington, Connecticut. A couple of brazen individuals. Four so far has been stealing. Two they feel they've identified. Let me know what you think of this. Should they get caught? What do you think the punishment should be? On with our sports story. It's another feel-good story, similar to last week, where we got a streak that has been broken. So you got some happy campers and you got some not so happy campers in this case. The story says Kansas football, that's the University of Kansas, Jayhawk football, ended its Big 12 conference losing streak Saturday with a 57-56 victory on the road at Texas. Coming into this game, the Jayhawks hadn't won a Big 12 game since 2019 or a Big 12 game on the road since 2008. That's 13 years. Coming into this game, the Jayhawks hadn't beaten the Longhorns since 2016. That's 5 years. And they never beat them in Austin in the series history. Hello. So coming into this game, the Jayhawks hadn't won a game in November since that win against the Longhorns in 2016. All those droughts are over. Kansas can point to a win against Texas as the reason why. If this game had been played in Lawrence, there's no telling how many fans would have been rushing the field and possibly tearing down the uprights. No, this Texan team isn't fighting for a spot in the college football playoff. It's not fighting for a spot in the Big 12 championship game. A bowl game is even looking fuzzy for the proud program of the University of Texas, which fell pretty hard to the Rock Chalk Jayhawks of Kansas. But for a team like Kansas that's clearly struggled mightily for a significant period of time, this remains a critical victory. So Kansas football ended its Big 12 conference losing streak Saturday with a 57-56 victory on the road at Texas. Texas is kind of like Notre Dame, Alabama, USC, UCLA. I mean, these are just dominant programs. When you hear their names, they're always ranked. They're always going to be there in the top. Matter of fact, when you think of the University of Kansas, 9 times out of 10, you're thinking about their basketball program because, it's always been a juggernaut. But the football program has suffered here lately, but they got a huge victory at the expense of the University of Texas, which, I think this is going to feed right into another story where they had a player on the team on the defensive side of the football on a ride home from previous week's game where the coach was motivating them with some choice words to get into that, and someone recorded it and leaked it out to the press. So I just say things are going to just be getting dimmer and dimmer for the University of Texas. But this is not about the University of Texas. It's about the Kansas Rock Chalk Jayhawk football team. They're feeling good this Sunday, and they should. Waiting in that drought, waiting in that streak, and hopefully this kicks off a new streak for you. Let me know what you think of the Kansas Jayhawks football program and its momentous victory on yesterday over the University of Texas, 57-56. All right, let's get ready to take a look at this week's weather from the Angry Onion. Today's weather forecast comes from Dagsboro, incorporated in the early 1900s. It's a town that is energized in summer by Delaware Route 26 beach traffic. The town in the Indian River School District was founded in 1747 and has been known as Blackfoot Town, Dagsbury, and Dagsboro. It was named for John Dagsworthy, who lived 1721 to 1784, a brigadier general of the Sussex County Militia during the American Revolutionary War. Dagsboro, at the time of the census in 2010, there were 805 people, or 364 households, and 222 families living in the town. One of its major attractions was built in 1755 and named for Prince George, later King George III. Prince George Chapel is one of the oldest churches in the United States, as well as one of the oldest buildings in Dagsboro. It became part of the Church of England's Worcester Parish on June 30th, 1757, when the area was still part of Maryland. General Dagsworthy, who died in 1829, is buried in the chapel cemetery. Major renovation came in 1967 with the properties purchased by the state of Delaware. It was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1971. The weather this week in Dagsboro, we'll see temperatures in the mid-50s in the beginning of the week, warming to the mid-60s midweek, and back in the 50s at the end of the week, with lows in the mid-30s throughout the week. So we'd like to give a hearty thank you and a welcome to the town of Dagsboro, Delaware, for bringing this week's weather on the Angry Onion. Okay, let's get into this week's Onion Breath Stinker. It goes to a married couple, or two lowlives, in my opinion. Lahua Kalua and her husband A.S.K. Kalua. I might say two lowlives. Horrific new accusations of torture and child abuse have emerged in the case of a married Hawaiian couple charged with murdering their 6-year-old adopted daughter. New release court documents allege that Luia Kalula, 43, and her husband A.S.K. Kalula, 52, intentionally starved their daughter, Isabella Ariel Kalula, and kept her locked up in a dog cage, bound and gagged with duct tape to prevent her from foraging through the night. One, probably to find something to eat, and two, probably to get the hell out of there. So these two sorry lowlives, and I know it's alleged, but the young lady, and what I mean by the young lady, Miss Isabella Ariel Kalula, their daughter, she's passed. Something happened. Well, I'm sitting here with a 43-year-old and a 52-year-old torturing and starving a 6-year-old. That's their adopted daughter. If you didn't want her, why did you get her in the first place? You're just sick. Man, you know, I mean, onion breath stinker is not even good enough for you guys. You guys, if convicted, need to be tortured and done the same way. I'm not an advocate of murder. I'm not saying that. But you need to get the ultimate penalty of whatever the law prevails that has been agreed upon by the citizens of Hawaii. But this is just sad and sickening. So this week's onion breath stinkers, Lehua Kalua and A.S.K. Kalua, you downright stink, downright funky. And I'm not talking about good funk or good stink. The no good, nasty, ranky, low down, son of a gun, stink. You are this week's onion breath stinkers of the week. All right. So if you believe you have an onion breath stinker and you'd like to nominate someone, please do that. Just shoot us an email at rodtv65@gmail.com. Let us know why you're nominating that person, and we'll try to get them there. You don't have to send us a picture. You just let us know that they stink, you know. And guess what? Others may say they stink. Others may say, well, this whole process stinks. But guess what? I'm an onion, and I'm supposed to stink. All right? Okay. Let's move on. Okay, here we go with this week's stinker question of the week. Is it live or Memorex? How many of y'all remember those commercials, the advertising for the Memorex cassette tapes? Uh, I remember those tapes, man. They were pretty expensive compared to the others. You know, we say they were metal. Weren't the plastic type. They were kind of this metal, like that's what we used to say about the tape. And that the clarity coming out of those recordings on those tapes was true enough. It was a lot better than most. In the commercial, it was famous. The first commercial, they would have Ella Fitzgerald singing, and she could get her voice to such a level that it would shatter a glass. And so people want to know. They would see her in the studio, and the commercial would show her singing, and the glass would shatter. And the question people they would ask in the commercial: is it her singing? Is it live? Or is it Memorex? Which I thought was pretty catchy. The other type of commercial, which I thought was pretty cool, they had a guy, he's sitting in the chair, and he's basically at a concert. And, or one would think he's at a concert. You got the speakers right there in front of him. So it's like a live concert, and the music is just blasting, and the volume and all, and the sound waves that are coming out are so powerful. It's like it's wind blowing. It's like he's having to hold on, that the music is just pumping so hard. But he wasn't at a concert. It was a Memorex tape. It was a recording on the Memorex tape, which made it all so cool. So if you remember these commercials, or if you go back and look at it, or if you have experience using Memorex tapes, let me know your thoughts. Was it hype, or was it real? Was it truly live or Memorex uh, on how good those tapes were? Let us know in the comment section, or just talk about it among yourselves on what you think. And as I said, I thought it was pretty cool back in the day. So this week's stinker question of the week: is it live or Memorex? Well, once again, thank you for listening to and tuning in to the show, The Angry Onion. It stinks and it will continue to stink. But remember, I'm an onion. Heyo, I'm the angry onion, and everything that I do stinks. Thank you to The Angry Onion, which is a production of Rod TV 65, where reality meets the public. Rod TV 65 is a production of BBB2M Media.